Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Lift off and the clock has started.
This record on. So
Let's
you're
get
officially stuck. You have to podcast now.
Doing it.
Oh, and you have to listen. Corn dogs.
Open your
All right. Okay. I know I could have been more
cornbread orifice.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you just get that golden crust, a little crack, you'll find another juicy Old Heart Radio podcast here for you guys. All right. This is officially Under Further Review 15. The council is back in session. Everybody's here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Guys.
Hello.
So we have the long-awaited, we've talked about it enough, the long-awaited jazz playlist. It's a genre playlist we went with this week. We've kind of dabbled in like some things that we got coming up, which is exciting and whatnot. We'll hopefully get a new guest on. I just have to be not a dingus and actually get some communique out there. But yeah, we kind of took a little hiatus there, guys, and I definitely missed the council sessions here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I gotta say, in the hiatus, I ate a box of about 18 corn dogs to myself, and I thought about you guys each time.
No, I've been corn dog.
I've been eating a little bit healthier, and Trader Joe's has a low-calorie turkey corn dog that's fantastic in the air fryer.
Oh my!
You can have 2 of them for 300 calories.
The air fryer is a game changer. I have a Ninja Foodie, and that thing,
it's great, isn't it?
I use it like basically every day to fuck the oven. I'm using the air fryer.
Ovens just take so long.
Yeah, there's like no preheat. Just fucking turn that thing on.
I've learned. I recently learned that if you drink Chardonnay that's too old and it's gone bad, it actually tastes a lot like mead.
Is that what you're currently sipping on there?
Yeah, it looks like piss.
It does look like
might as well be
stagnant
piss if it's Chardonnay.
It's gonna be in a little bit.
That's true. Good. Then I'm glad your body's still functioning properly.
Yep.
I got a big old margarita here. That's what I got.
I'm sipping on some semi-flat orange LaCroix.
Good old orange.
I also have some passion to crack open later, in case I get a little crazy with my
some
seltzer.
Orange and some passion.
Wake up feeling dangerous.
My water. That's why I like. I always love that. I don't go to bars at all these days. But after I quit drinking, going to bars became a really weird thing. But like the only draw was really like wanting to go see music. And so I always had this weird pull where it's like I want to go catch the set, but I don't want to be in a bar environment right now. And when I started going, I realized that like I was just like always the most hydrated person in that fucking room because the way I drink, like it's like a nervous tick, and that's why I think like drinking was always so easy. But like I do it with water too when I'm at a bar. I'm just sitting there, I'll just like fucking slam down water and I'll piss like every 5 minutes and then get more water, and I'm just like, damn, okay, I'm doing it, man. Like
you should drink enough water so that you have to question whether or not your prostate's okay.
Yeah, sometimes it feels that way. You're like, I'm getting there. I'm pushing the boundaries. All right,
I'll get checked.
I'm gonna be the man who pisses the most. Clear water.
Speaking of piss,
I don't know why we're talking about this. We talked about not getting in the weeds, and here we are talking about.
Here we are.
By clarity, by volume, by I don't know, density.
Yeah. Oh,
viscosity.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
frothiness.
Okay, one last weed. I watched this YouTube channel. I follow this YouTube channel. Technically, Old Heart Radio follows this YouTube channel called Badlands Chugs. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that dude. This is this awesome, super positive dude who just slams down different beverages out of like giant boots, and stuff like that. And sometimes he chugs thick water.
Oh, gross.
What is thick water?
Thick water is
it's
exactly what it sounds like.
It's like a syrupy water. Like,
Do you just add like gelatin to it or something?
He doesn't add. Well, you can buy it like that. I think for like
that.
I think it's like stuff like I don't know exactly what it's for. I mean, I imagine there's some sort of like purpose of like, ingesting it for like elderly folks maybe who can't ingest things or something like that. I don't know, or tubes. I don't know. Anyway, it's like
Corn.
it's just like it's like very viscous like water. It's like and like
word.
I recently watched him.
Viscous.
I do think I like to use it, but it's a weird word. But I watched him slam some of that recently, and that shit is disgusting. And that's exactly what I thought of when you mentioned it, viscous.
It's like agave water or something.
That's how we're going to go out this week. Everybody think of the one not bad word that you hate the most. That's how we're going out.
Okay, not bad word. Okay, I got you.
I like
you guys?
viscous.
The
All right.
one that makes you just like kind of cringe,
Yeah,
Just-
anal spokes for me. Sure.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
You
All
think
right.
about it, spokes on a tire.
Yeah.
So, kicking off the jazz playlist, I want to say there's a variety of different styles of and let's see, eras of jazz on here, we'll call it. But jumping off, we got I think a Jameson track, if I'm correct,
Yep,
in the wee hours of the morning.
Right. So I've always been a pretty big Frank Sinatra fan. This is a Frank Sinatra track that's been redone by I don't know any of these artists, just going through Spotify playlist of different genres of jazz, and this came up, and the Sinatra version's kind of like the recording I found of it is not real great, and this just sounds a hell of a lot better, and this is kind of the genre I found that I like the most. So I thought this was a good track.
Yeah, man, I really like this one. It's I like how calm it is, and I purposely put this at the beginning of the list just for like the idea of like in the morning.
Yeah.
I definitely actually this morning when I was when I was walking to work, sometimes I try and squeeze that in, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. Nobody's out. I'm just like walking. It's all dark out. I was listening to this list and like put the song on, and it just like calmed the mood.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like it was a really nice scene. But I enjoy it. Yeah, it's like a really subtle song and a subtle cover, or not cover, but rendition. Caleb, what did you think about this track, though, man?
So I definitely noticed like a lot of Jameson's picks are kind of like really chill. There's a lot of piano, jazz.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I found. Not to cut you off, that's what I found I liked the best is like piano jazz. And so I don't know if it's actually a genre, but the playlist I found myself attracted to were what do they call it? Dark academic jazz.
Oh,
So I know, right?
Jazz is
Damn.
somehow more pretentious than the metal music genre.
Right?
Barely though.
But I mean, this
Yeah.
one was cool. Like it's some really cool. It kind of like I realized that this is a Frank Sinatra song, but it feels like they're just improvising. Like he's just exploring the keys, and the drummer is just like using his brushes, and just it's very brushy snare. There's a lot of that, and it doesn't really pick up until like the end of the song. He kind of goes a little nuts, but yeah, it just sounds like it's totally off the cuff, but it really works. And I liked all the notes, even the ones that doesn't sound like the right note, but it is the right note, and that is jazz. That is the essence of jazz.
that's jazz. Jazz. Nick, what about you?
Think jazz.
This is my favorite kind of jazz, and I think it probably is for, I don't know, those of us who grew up on Charlie Brown holiday movies or Charlie Brown cartoons in general. But I mean, my first style ever hearing this was in one of those movies, which was Vince Guaraldi. I think he's on this list somewhere else. But I like it. I like the down tempo, soft brushiness that Caleb mentioned. I like the piano aspects of it. I like the front and center stage piano. Clarify that. No, it was just a really pleasant track to listen to. no other notes.
Hell yeah. Dusty, did this soothe your aching bones?
I thought it was a Charlie Brown Christmas song at first, and I was like, oh, I like that. But then I thought I was in the fucking Davenport in Spokane, and it just kept going. I mean, I like it, but it's like lobby music to me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like in a fancy hotel or something.
I imagine
some guys
like,
just like playing.
I
People
imagine
talking over him.
You could sample a chunk of this and like repeat it on a phone call, like on a call waiting line or something.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's
Snap
fine.
jazz.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It doesn't offend me.
Fair enough. Well, what about the next track, "Pennies from Heaven"? That's it's Caleb, right?
Yeah, that was me. So when we were talking about putting the jazz playlist together, like finalizing, all right, we're gonna do it, start making it. I was watching Elf, and this song's an elf. He's running around town.
That's where I recognize it. I watched Elf in completion for the first time the holiday season.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Is this when they're on the date?
I
Is
think
the song
so.
that plays when they're on a date? I think so. It's a montage.
I think so. Yeah. But it's just like, it's kind of, I noticed like, there's so many different, subgenres of jazz and different little branches that it took. And some of them are kind of like that, maybe like swing kind of big band vibe, I guess, where it's like, it's jazz, but it's a little extra. And all the scatting and the just kind of silly New Yorker happy lyrics are like, I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I read the lyrics. I'm like, oh, he's saying words really though.
I fucking love it, dude. There's a part where he is like, I think he says like, what are you doing or something like that. But he goes like, what are you doing? It's like the way he says it. Like, it's just like such a wild cadence. I was trying to like practice it this morning. People walking by the empty cafe probably thought I was fucking crazy. But yeah, I was just like, dude, I love like his voice is epic, man. Yeah.
And the call and like response with him and the saxophone's really cool. Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah. I do. Yeah. Like when the drums really kick in there, like I love the dynamic, like that like rhythm that it gives you. And then just the sax laying over the top of it. Like, I don't know. It's a good piece, man. Yeah. Dusty, how'd you feel about this one though?
I like it. I put this in the rom-com jazz portion.
Oh, rom-com jazz. I feel like this belongs in a Tom Hanks movie, or
probably has been a few times.
Maybe one of those Jack Nicholson like early 2000 rom-coms he did. But I like it.
As Good as It Gets. Is that one of them?
Yeah, As Good as It Gets. It's classic.
I consider that a Greg Kinnear movie, honestly.
Oh,
Teachers on. Anyway, weeds. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I like that type of jazz. I mean, again, I'm not offended by this, and it kind of makes you happy.
It's so upbeat, man. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking upbeat. It's hard to like not be positive about this song, I feel like. But
I kind of have a feeling. Just sorry to interject, but I kind of have a feeling that out of everyone involved in the jazz playlist, that I think Jameson was reticent at first, probably, but maybe kind of came around to it. But I sort of feel like, Dusty, you're the wild card here. Like, you might be the hateful one on the jazz playlist.
He is, dude. I got the gavel ready. Like anytime he's up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think this. So I found something out. Like, I think this is my favorite playlist that we've put together and actually listened to. It's been my favorite, but I had to be in the right fucking mood to listen to this, because in the morning it was great, and then last night we were driving somewhere, and I put this on, and it just immediately made me fucking furious. Like, I did not want anything to do with this playlist. I hated it. So just had to be in the right fucking frame of mind, I guess.
Well, did this track hit?
Yeah, I think this is maybe one of my top songs on the list. I like this one a lot. Did anyone else realize this is King Louie from the Jungle Book?
I was gonna mention, dude. Yeah. That's you. Yeah, you can hear it, man. So legit.
I know that.
Yeah.
King Louie's song in Jungle Book is one of my. It's It's arguably my favorite.
He was the orangutan, right?
The king orangutan.
You wanna be a man cub? Stroll right into town.
It's a good song by any standards.
I agree. Nick, how'd you feel about this track?
So this track is kind of a perfect storm for me to dislike it. Like,
we're all like over here, like, how can anybody hate this song?
It's wonderful.
All right, for starters, I don't like vocals in jazz. It's just not something I've ever enjoyed.
Sorry,
I don't.
Louis.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he has other talents. It's fine.
What else though? What else? That's your George Clooney, but where's Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah. What?
Perfect Storm. This is the Perfect Storm reference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
the movie. I forgot about that movie. Oh. Wasn't Donnie in that one too? Or am I imagining that?
No, I hope so.
We should probably do a movie podcast on the side sometime.
All right.
That means you guys
So
have to
it's
go
not-
on to matinee edition with me and Lucas sometime.
Yeah.
So it's not two elements that make me dislike this song. It's three.
Okay.
The second is that it is in like a lot of TikTok videos that I've seen lately, or TikTok videos that I've seen posted elsewhere on the internet, and it's just so fucking frequent. It just stops on the shooby dooby part. So anytime I hear that, I have a visceral gut like anger reaction to it. So yeah, anything that's going to be in a TikTok trend, I'm going to be pretty fucking sick of.
Damn you,
By the time
TikTok.
I hear it.
Ruining
Yeah,
another thing.
really
TikTok.
is. Third, scat singing is
Scat
fucking
play?
lame. Yeah, it's fucking
What?
lame.
What was that?
What's wrong with scat play?
Scat singing, scat play is lame.
Ugh. There's not enough LaCroix I can drink to battle that fucking statement. I opinions are opinions, sir. I'll give you.
No. We listen. Like I know everybody says like we got to be open and just like accepting and not judge people, but we have to draw the line fucking somewhere and be like, no, that's mental illness.
I'm just guys.
I don't kink shame.
I'm just saying, scat,
Like, what the fuck is that?
I'm not talking about
but if
scat
you
vocals.
It's stupid.
listen to the rhythms that the dude lays down with his vocals. Like that's the wildest thing. Like
Right.
to find
So-
yourself like so far like in a weird direction. I don't know, man. Anyway,
I've had to come up with a theory as to why I don't like it, and so jazz is such like an improvisational style of music. Like, so it makes sense that if you have a vocalist, they need a method to improv, like to make things up or do runs on their own or just make stuff up just as they're feeling the music. And in my opinion, I don't think you can find a better way to do that than scat. But scat's also just so fucking lame. It's just dumb.
Is it as lame as
That's fine.
FDR's legs?
Yeah,
ooh,
more so. He could walk once.
That's true.
dang.
Scat never had a leg to stand on.
Oh.
All right.
God damn, when you guys all become dads, like the dad jokes is just going to be next level.
It's gonna be unparalleled.
If
It's
you
just gonna-
ever make that decision.
There'll
That
just be-
needs to be a podcast someday.
I
Just-
love dad jokes
Me too.
as a single white male.
How can you not?
I
saw
don't need progeny to appreciate them.
I saw like a little video clip of like the ultimate dad doing a dad joke, and it was like a guy, like it was like a dad running up to like a referee or something like that, and it said like, you know, poke him or whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
It said
yeah.
he had a press sweater for like
Press,
Yeah,
that's
taking
what it was. And he
pictures.
runs up
it.
and just like presses him. He runs like 3 or 4 bleachers down and fucking like does it in front of everybody. Like so
Yeah.
proud of himself for his fucking joke. Like,
I
was like,
loved it.
That's epic.
I've got a pair of white Air Monarchs, Nike Air Monarchs. They're like one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn.
Damn.
It's only
That's
a matter of
legit.
time until we all get our New Balance.
Oh
I
man,
have
I
New
love New
Balance,
Balance. I need to get some new ones.
You got to get some pure white ones, and then the minute you get them, you got to go mow the lawn.
Dude, that's why
get
I got
that
the
fresh grass stain.
Yeah, that's how my Air Monarchs are. It's Pete Carroll special, just white Nike Air Monarchs.
I mean, Chuck Taylor's our young man's game. We just have to face it.
It's true, man. It squeezes your toes together. In the winter, it's your toes get frozen, man.
My feet are too
that
fat for
rubber tip.
Converses.
That thin canvas has no insulation on it.
No,
Never
It was
owned
not.
a pair of Chucks.
My feet were always
I was
too
always
wide.
a Vans guy.
I still rock the Vans, but like it's intermittent with my New Balance. I wear my New Balance mostly when I know I'm going to try and walk to work or when my back already hurts. So
So I think there's like New Balance dads, but then there's another type of dad who just wear Keens. And I'm a big proponent of Keens, but that's another type of dad shoe a lot of people don't talk
Yeah.
about.
the fuck is
got 'em on
a
right now.
hippie dad. Fucking
Yeah.
loser.
No, outdoorsy dad.
Where's your
Get a
granola?
fucking-
granola.
Get
This
a
is
fucking
Pacific
job,
Northwest.
hippie.
Pacific
Keens are
Northwest
expensive.
dabs, all right?
All right, let's
Pacific Northwest dabs
All
have
right,
jobs.
all
They
right,
work at
all
Boeing
right.
and Microsoft at the same
Weeds.
time.
guys?
Speaking of dads,
I'm cutting this off because we
We're
got
so far.
we got a
We gotta
Bud,
go.
we got a Bud Shanked song to talk about.
We haven't seen each other in a while. We're gonna get
I know.
distracted.
I'm sorry. Dusty, you blessed us with this little gem. This what was the full title? Whatever. Fluted columns.
Yeah,
So where did you peep this very flute forward track?
I don't know jazz. So first thing I think of when I think of jazz, I think of Ron Burgundy.
Yep.
And I think of jazz
I
flute.
knew it.
And I tried to see if there was just any straight Ron Burgundy jazz flute songs. There wasn't. So it took me to a Ron Burgundy like inspired playlist. And I was like, well, this is an upbeat jazz flute song, and so like, yeah, gotta have it.
Dude,
And so
it
I
ain't
think we
bad,
ha-
man.
we can't have a jazz playlist without some jazz flute.
I did enjoy that you also managed to find one about California.
We still
Go-
haven't
go
got to my
right onto
California playlist.
Yeah, that can go right onto the California playlist.
Yeah, dude, this track is just it's interesting. Like you almost I liked it. There's very few tracks. I like only a couple tracks on this playlist I think I didn't like, honestly, but like this one I dug. But it's like so interesting because I never listened to flute forward songs, and so like you have moments where like it transitions from like the flute kind of soloing or leading to like the piano leading, and it's like it was like really like weird. I had these moments of like, oh, they transit like it's that's a piano now. Like my ears were doing like weird adjustments during all this this entire track. But I mean, I honestly didn't mind it. I knew it had something to do with Ron Burgundy though, dude. I was like, fucking hell. Jameson, how'd you feel about this track? About the flute?
You're not going to have to eat cat poop for putting this one on there. It's quite good. It's kind of silly though, but I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it is a silly one. Caleb?
I mean, as the kids would say, this song fucks. It's good. I once attempted for an evening to play the flute because a friend of mine was a flautist. I think that's the term. And she was describing it to me, and I was like, you know, she had a flute, and I tried it out, and that shit is fucking hard. So to be able to do this it's fucking wild, you know, respect. That aside, it's just a fun song. It's very upbeat, and it just kind of, it's a toe tapper, you know. I was listening to
chaotic.
I was listening to it when I was making an update on the porcelain throne, and I was just tapping my foot, having a good time.
Bopping along.
Yeah.
Nick, were you bopping with this flute track, huh? No.
I can't believe Update just made it onto the pod.
Took long enough.
We'll explain that one another day.
Well, hold on. Why don't we
Explain it now.
No,
No weeds.
No weeds. Okay,
Can't get
fine.
into
Talk
these
about the
weeds
flute.
right
Talk about the flute, damn it.
Okay, the flute. I immediately planned on making some kind of Ron Burgundy joke the second I heard this song. To be honest, it was extremely annoying, like for the first half of it, and then right about at that halfway mark, I like suddenly got it. Like the tempo of my brain just like snapped into that little skip and hop of this song. It was just so like it was just frustratingly happy to the point where it forced me to be a little happier to listen to it, and I appreciate that out of a song. which is a song I would have skipped if I hadn't been assigned to listen to it. So I'm glad I didn't, because like now I'm listening to it again now, and I'm enjoying the whole thing. It's great. Good job, Bud Shank.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, you picked out the next track too. So, where'd you find "Jumpin' Jive" by Calloway?
I intended this to be a bonus. I totally forgot that it was going to wind up this far, so I won't spend too much longer on it. But this was a royalty-free song that I found on the internet a long time ago and put into a video of Caleb blasting a thing of Old Spice out of the sky and then looking into the camera with a pipe in his mouth, like an old-timey smoking pipe.
And saying, what does he say?
Fuck Old Spice. Verbatim.
Yep, that's the only line. Cab Calloway's in it. He shoots like what is clearly like a fucking Springfield XD modeled plastic toy gun with the orange cap sawed off.
Yep.
And then it makes a TIE Fighter blaster sound instead of any other pistol. I deliberately chose it to be the TIE Fighter blaster sound. So it just, because it has that just piercing shriek to it. I wanted it to be as abrasive as possible.
We were bored.
Speaking of TIE Fighter, what did you guys think of that awful chase scene in the book of Boba Fett this week?
Thank you
hold on. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, me neither. No spoilers.
You were not going to ruin anything, but there's a chase scene. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
And it was slow. It was stupid, and it just like it I don't know,
the cyberpunk fucking punk kids.
Power Rangers.
I want to like that like series more, but like I feel like it's like I'm gonna watch it, but I kind of feel like they're doing a bit of a disservice to my favorite character.
It depends on the director of the episode, because the second episode with the train heist was fantastic.
It was really good, yeah.
The second episode was who is it? Steph Green, I believe.
But Rich Rodriguez, I think, did the first and the third.
It felt slow and clunky.
He also did the one episode of The Mandalorian that felt off. However, I've never felt that like off feeling watching any of his other stuff, except maybe Spy Kids. That was just fucking weird. But like Robert Rodriguez has a very particular style that a lot of people very like, and I just don't necessily know if it applies to Star Wars.
We can talk about it later.
We're
after you watch it, Jared.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, fair enough. That's on me. Anyway, yeah, okay. So this track is just like you were saying. I feel like it's just kind of like a nostalgic nod for most of us. I mean, I don't mind the whole track though. Like, it definitely has like a groove to it. I'll just say that. But just really quick, Dusty, how'd you feel about it?
Reminds me a lot of track. It's just old timey music. Reminds me of, I don't know if you guys watched the Watchmen series on HBO a couple years ago.
Totes.
There was one episode where it was like a flashback to the main black guy, the older black man, when he was a vigilante. Yeah. It reminded me of that whole scene, that whole episode, just that time frame. What is that, like probably the 50s, 60s, somewhere in there?
Probably 50s, maybe
40s. Maybe 40s. I don't know, but yeah, it's fine. I like the guy's zoot suit he's got on. So,
Caleb, does this hold up for you? Did it still make you hate Old Spice?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that smell, and that's what inspired that that video. And like at the time, fuck Old Spice. There you go. Thank you. Not for the song, but yeah, like it just, me and Rex were listening to Cab Calloway quite a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna bring. That's what I was gonna say. I remember Rex being obsessed with Cab Calloway for a little while,
and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to one of my picks from him. But anyway, yeah, it's like, it's just a fun song. I get why Nick picked it, because it was from that video in that time. But it, like you just were saying, Nick, you don't like scat vocals, and this is just chock full of it. But I mean, it's kind of hard to make a jazz playlist and not put, I feel like Cab Calloway, again, kind of that big band swing style of jazz, but he's one of the OGs of that, and it's some fun shit.
Fucking hell. And Jameson, so you were saying you were obviously familiar with this track, but you're familiar with Cab Calloway anyway. So did you like this whole track?
Yes.
Like as a whole?
It's good. And that's
Yeah.
all I'll say.
That's all I
To
have
keep
say
things
about
moving.
that.
It's good.
All right.
This
Well,
one was not intended to be a full discussion one.
Fair enough. Well, the next track's one of my picks. It's "All the Things That You Are" by Dizzy Gillespie. This track's just fucking smooth in this like really kind of beautiful way, if you ask me. To be honest, it is a track. The sappier side of me like connects this track directly to Nadine, my fiance. And so sometimes, so sometimes it's nice to like,
Yeah, cute.
Again, be like, walking to work or something, and this pops on, you can have that kind of warmth in your fucking mind. So, or in between your ears at least. So, what'd you guys think of it though? Jameson, how'd you feel about this track?
Yeah, this one I like quite a bit. I found in my search I'm not particularly fond of most trumpet jazz. I think a lot of the time for me it's just too ADD and they go crazy and it's just so forward. But this one it was like sorry. It was still trumpet forward without being crazy, and it just fit the whole tone of the song. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Nick, what about you? How'd you feel about this Dizzy Gillespie track?
I actually really liked it. It had a real smooth vibe to it, like Indiana Jones' Mystery of the Blues smooth.
Dude, you know it, man. You know it.
I don't know. This one had just such a good vibe to it, and then like when the trumpet cuts out, you can kind of hear that it almost has like this ragtimey feel to it. I don't know. It was a good track. Felt good to listen to. I liked it.
Yo, I'm just gonna say I still have a copy of that episode on VHS.
Did you get it from the library?
Oh yeah, I did.
That's how I got it.
That
I'm not
whole series was
admitting
better
to.
than Temple
I'm
of Doom.
studying to be a librarian, but me and the
stole from the
library may
library.
have had a sordid past at one point in time.
It's your way of giving back.
Yeah, exactly.
Righting
I'll let
some
them.
wrongs.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Caleb, how'd you feel about this track, man?
So I think when I first started listening to this playlist, this was the first one that was coming up before it got shuffled. And like I was listening to in the shower, and like the intro, like the piano has kind of got like a spooky, like Nick was saying, it's kind of spooky, like it's I don't know, very minor, but then all the trumpets and the other horned instruments come in and kind of smooth it out and I don't know, perk it up like in the vibe. And it's really cool, like just the dichotomy of those things happening, and the kind of walking bass and the really interesting phrasing that all the horns are doing is it's honestly, I think it's too short. It's only like 3 minutes long. I wanted more.
It does feel like it could be extended, honestly.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dusty, how'd you feel about it, man?
I don't know, it was just lobby jazz to me.
I think we're going to hear that a few times.
It's fine. I mean, obviously I don't have a huge taste for jazz, so to me it's like wine, where all wine tastes exact fucking same. So I just lack a palate for it.
You heard it here first.
There's a sommelier listening there's a sommelier corn dog right now. He's gonna take a fucking bath with a toaster pretty soon because of this.
Don't do it.
Throw it in with the white rabbit pigs.
Wine tastes different from other wine, I swear.
Your palate is too valuable for us to lose you.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's all I have to
fair
say about that.
All I have to say about that. All right, Jameson, it's another track by you up next, which is a really solid pick. If you ask me, I was thinking about putting this one on there too. Blue and Green, which features John Coltrane and Miles Davis,
And
what a
Bill
wonderful
Evans.
combo. And Bill Evans. Excuse me, Bill.
So
I know
yeah,
his ghost is listening, or if he's still alive. He's probably not alive. Anyway, where'd this come from, Jameson?
so I've been a fan of Coltrane for quite some time. You know, once you start getting into vinyl, I feel like you have to have some jazz if you're gonna really dig into vinyl a bit. So I have a couple Coltrane albums. So I've been a fan of him, and so I wanted to find something from him to put in. And seeing this, having Miles Davis and Bill Evans, who are kind of like a lot of people would say like the masters of their specific instrument, Miles with the trumpet, John with the sax, and Bill with the piano, is like, you just kind of, it's like putting all the rock gods in one song. So you just had to throw this one in there.
That's a good way of looking at it, man. Yeah, this song is just so fucking smooth, man. That's a word we'll probably all use a lot this evening, but it's just so fucking true. It's so buttery at parts. You guys mentioned the brushes on the drums in a previous song, like the way that like that subtlety comes through at times with it, with the rhythm in this track is fucking awesome. Yeah, I love this song. Like I can listen to this song any day, every day, probably personally. But Dusty, how about you, my friend? Are you in love with this?
This is fancy restaurant jazz.
Oh.
So, I feel like I'm
like Red Lobster. Is that what we're talking about?
We're talking Olive Garden here.
Oh,
so,
God, that never-ending possible.
No, it's like I'm at fucking
Olive Gardens look pretty nice on the inside.
You swineherd.
No, it's like I'm in fucking Visconti's or something like that. Like.
Only people from Wenatchee will get it, but it's good.
There's this really fancy restaurant in the Marcus Whitman in Walla Walla that I paid like $70 for a steak once in, and it reminds me of that. But
was it a good steak? So that means
it was really good. And
Yes.
it came with this really good truffle macaroni and cheese as well.
Ooh.
So, but
I bet it was smooth, this song.
I mean, this is smooth, but yeah, I'm like, all right, where's the bread? Are we getting more bread now, or
My breadsticks.
I love how this analogy is for this song developed. Yeah, I mean, I can see all that. Or like if you're thinking about it in terms of pasta or food or steak.
do I get the tour of Italy, or is that just too much food? I really want chicken parmesan and fettuccine alfredo
And lasagna.
and lasagna and a little spaghetti.
And fuck it, throw the zuppa in there as well.
Yep,
Okay.
I'll get the soup because I'm definitely going to be eating some of your salad.
This is like this is like an
gabagool.
advanced level of descriptive imagery that I've never heard just like spoken as a music review before.
Making me hungry.
This is elaborate.
Caleb, did you order as much when you were listening to this song?
No. No. I really like this song. I've heard this. Yeah, I can't handle that much Italian food. My heritage comes from the North Atlantic, and all that rich food tends to cause some problems.
But the alcohol, fine.
Yeah.
For the body.
Yeah.
From that.
I can't do a hangover anymore. I'm old.
So you actually kind of like this track though?
Oh yeah. Speaking of hangovers, so I've heard the song before, and what it always reminds me of is hanging out with my girlfriend's stepdad and drinking like his fancy scotch with him, and we listen to this and we're just bullshitting about music, and it just kind of reminds me of lounging in a comfy chair and sipping on a drink and just vibing out. And it's
Hell
like
yeah.
it's like the lady on the field trip said, if peeing your pants is cool, then I'm Miles Davis. I don't know what that has.
Then consider me Miles Davis.
Other than it's Miles Davis. But yeah, it's really good. I like this one a lot. And it's the right amount of time. It's like 6 minutes. And it's like, yeah, I needed that. It's good.
I needed that 6 minutes. Yeah. Nick, how did you feel?
This is
About
noir
Blue.
jazz. Oof. This is dark. It's thoughtful. It's solid. No, not that.
Sultry.
No. Yeah.
Like I
it is
said,
sultry.
it's
sultry.
dark academic jazz.
It's thinking music.
This is also dark academic jazz?
It was on the list.
Stinking heck, man. I didn't even realize that.
I want to go to the Dark Academy.
I mean,
Send me that link, man.
I'm feeling smarter knowing
Send me
that
the
like some of
application.
these are academic.
I'm going to apply to go to the Dark Academy. Get a bachelor's degree in necromancy.
Dude. Not to get in the weeds too far again, but I just started playing Skyrim for the first time. Really.
Oh,
For the first time?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
lucky man.
I just never really play these games very much, so I've been chipping away at it. I created a character named Aerogoth. He's a big red guard who wields a steel greatsword and just fucking chops down anything in front of him.
Nice.
So are you gonna join the Stormcloaks?
Oh, no, I actually just stole a horse from the Stormcloaks. I basically treat the game like Grand Theft Auto. Like I get on there and fuck around for a while, like fucking with things. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go wander off into the mountains and auto save. I'm done for the night.
You have that. You definitely, strike me as the type with that chaotic neutral kind of energy. And I respect that.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything bad to anybody really, unless they come at me and then I chop them the fuck down. But
yeah, you might take someone's life. You might steal their wife.
Yeah. Or I'll pickpocket you and take your gemstones or whatever. I just... Anyway, I don't know where that came from. I just knew I had to tell you guys.
All
right. Who's got the next track? Who picked up Chloe?
That was me.
It was a Caleb track. I like this track, man. So where'd you find this song by Joe Pass?
So I remember when I was maybe 13 or 14, I had this like book. It was like famous guitarists and like their styles, and it had tabs and you could learn different things. And one that always really stuck out to me because it was so far beyond my capacity and still is to play was Joe Pass. And he's just this sweet, late, he's gone now, old man who I watch videos of him on YouTube and like, so it's really easy. You just play this little thing and he'd do this wild fucking thing. Be like, yeah, that's how you do it. And I'm like, God damn it, Joe. Like, you're so good and you just make it look so easy and you're so humble about it. But as someone who's been trying to learn jazz guitar recently, I've been kind of revisiting this stuff and it's just nice. And there's just the right amount of wrong notes. And I don't know, it's lovely. And it reminds me, so for me, my love of jazz started with the Weather Channel because I'd get up early in the morning and I'd look at the weather and I would listen to the jazz on the Weather Channel. And Joe Pass reminds me of that.
I remember that vibe, man.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
Joe Pass is awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I really dug this track. There's very few I have negative things to say about this. This track was just smooth. Again, it was just nice, pleasant. Like I never really think about guitar when I think about jazz. So sometimes it's kind of nice to like be reminded, of a different element. I'm so connected with like horns when it comes to jazz, and then like rhythm like the rhythm section, and when it comes to jazz. But yeah, like I said, this was kind of just like a pleasant surprise to follow along. Jameson, how'd you feel?
Yeah, the guitar work is just super impressive. It's great. I knew that this had to either be Nick or Caleb, but it's good. Yeah. I don't think it's like top of my list, but it's just another piece of the spectrum to jazz that we hadn't seen in this playlist yet. So it was nice.
Yeah, I agree. Dusty, tell me true.
I mean, I like the jazz guitar part of it. Kind of reminds me of Eric Johnson. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, he's a really good guitar player. I don't know. He had a song on Guitar Hero called Cliffs of Dover. Yeah, very technical. But yeah, he's a really good guitar player. But
virtuoso, if you will.
It's still just jazz to me. I mean,
it's all jazz to Dusty.
It kind of meshed together with the previous song, where I just thought the song that I was listening to was like 20 minutes long or something like that.
Totally different mood change.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's jazz. You can be chaotic and change it up.
Fair.
That's all I'll say about that.
Nick, how about you, man?
I'm with Caleb on the not understanding jazz guitar at all. Like this was so cool to listen to, and I wish that I could think to play notes in the way that Joe Pass plays notes. I can't. I don't know what he's doing. I don't understand the decisions he makes. I don't know how he does anything. Like, it's incomprehensible to me, and I've been playing guitar for like 20 years now. Fucking, oh my God, 20 years.
I thought about
Don't go
that
down
the
that
other,
road too.
I thought about that the other day when someone asked like how long I play guitar. I'm like, oh shit, I'm old. Started playing like when I was like what 7th grade or something. You're like, God.
I know. I was telling Nick the other day, like,
And I still suck. So
like, I just got to the point where I can kind of sweep 4 strings, and I have fucking gray hair. And if I had known that when I was like 13, I don't know, I would have
probably just quit.
I would have locked myself in a woodshed.
You know, currently I can't sweep 4 strings. I can sweep 5 and I can sweep 3. I don't have a single pattern that I've ever done on specifically 4 strings.
Just do a descending like chromatic, you know.
Maybe.
Well, no.
Just do it like this.
You do that. You do
Joe Pass. Just do this. It's easy.
You do that, motherfucker. Joe Pass over here. So this comes to the probably the head scratcher of the playlist, which I think we all know who this came from. But we got
Explain yourself.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
There you have your answer.
Yeah,
And
you said
Dusty.
it's a jazz playlist, so you can't have a jazz playlist without DJ Jazzy Jeff on it. So
You can.
what better song than to put the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on there?
It is. It's one of those songs. Like, I guess honestly, I never hate the song.
You have to listen to the whole intro.
No, you got it.
That's how I am with that's who I am with Peacemaker now. I have to watch that intro every time I see it.
Yep. Haven't skipped it yet.
No, I don't think we have either. Yeah, I mean, this track's just fun as fuck. It always is. Clearly, it's a different it's a different genre, but it nods to the jazz.
It's got bass in it, so jazz has bass and drums.
Where's the improvisation? It is such a well orchestrated
The
song.
whole rap was improv. Will Smith made it up on the spot.
It was
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
He didn't.
Yeah, he did that
That's a lie.
at a
He
rap
made that
battle.
That was, he was rap battling Eminem, and that's what he came back with.
Mom.
Eminem was like spaghetti, and he was like, all right, Joe Jazzy Jeff, flip that fucking shit. Need we say more about this track?
No, probably not.
So where does that take us? That takes us to a Nick pick. What is this? Agua?
Agua.
Ah.
It means water in Spanish.
Oh, that's what it. I have had it before.
You've had agua?
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
You can only get agua at a Mexican restaurant.
No, maybe I haven't had it. I usually order Coke when I'm there.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Anyways.
better down in Mexico.
Anyway, so again, dude, this track is fucking nice, man. I studied harder to this playlist than I did with any other playlist we've made so far, and this track included, man.
Did you relax / study to this one?
I fucking
It was a lo-fi beat a little bit.
I fucking did, dude. So yeah, where'd you pull this one from, though?
So this one is a guitarist that I actually discovered on Instagram. His name's Kazuki Isogai. He's a Japanese dude who plays jazz guitar. He plays a lot of like the old timey styles of guitar. So it's he applies that kind of in a little bit more of a modern application to it. And I thought this was a great application of his style because he's totally playing jazz style guitar, but it's set over like a modern like lo-fi beat, and he's got a couple other like fantastic musicians on here, and that's something I wanted to do was kind of highlight a couple of instruments I really liked. I wanted to do a guitarist. Caleb stole Joe Pass, so I went with this guy because I was like, fuck it, let's get weird with it. Taking a jazz outsider approach here. If you don't listen to jazz, my shit's gonna be the stuff that you're like, oh, that's jazz, okay.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I
know
was
if
going to say to it. If another nod to Billy Madison. If this is jazz, then I'm Miles Davis.
I might back you up on that.
But I don't know. I thought it was fun. I think the least jazzy part about it was the rhythm of it because it didn't really have a traditional jazz rhythm. But I mean, jazz did eventually progress into hip hop, which is what this is. So why not? It all has the same roots.
Yeah, well, I think, and we see this with other tracks on here. Like, I was thinking about this really hard before recording this. Like, we see like some jazz tracks on here, but we see a lot of tracks that have elements of jazz.
True.
You know what I mean? And that's something that can be like spoken to, like the fact that jazz was such a formational thing for people for so long, especially probably learning how to play instruments and then branching off into like learning different genres. That like, I mean, I think that's inevitable. That you're kind of right. Like, I think when looking for jazz stuff, like it's like the Ghost Note song I put on the end. Not that we're gonna really like, I don't want to talk about it, but like it's a good track. And if you're checking out the playlist, Caleb's got more piss wine. You know, like you'll find that like there's like funk heavy songs that have like jazz elements. There's all sorts of songs that have that jazz elements, and like, I think the lo-fi kind of like background beat that's attached to the song really works with like what's happening otherwise in the song, you know. But anyway, that's just long-winded. Dusty, how'd you feel about this track?
I was like, is this considered jazz? I mean, because it's, I mean, if it were jazz, then I mean, that would be what I prefer. More guitar, bass, and all that. So it's fine.
I thought you would really hate this, Gil, because it's like electronic and jazz.
No, it's fine. It was a nice change up from the past 4 songs that all blend together. So,
Caleb, how about you, man?
So yeah, I kind of had like, you know, my initial thought was like, wait, do we call this jazz? And like kind of the same thing with the last track. It's like, this is not jazz, but to, you know, what we just were saying, like jazz influenced so much different stuff. And I'm guilty of it too, because of one of the tracks that I put in here that you might argue isn't jazz, but it's such a formative genre of music. And it's just good to see that it may not be like, in every circle, it's not like still like surviving the way it used to. It's still around, and I don't know, it's still serving that same purpose of like something smooth, something relaxing, something that might help you focus, or, you know, just chill out. And no, it's really good. And I mean, I can't, Kazuki Isogai, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it, but that guy's really good. It's really tasteful. It's really pretty. I like his use of the whammy bar, just subtly. It's pretty. I dig it.
Hell yeah. And I apologize, Jameson, did we get your thoughts already?
No, not really, but I think you guys have all pretty much summed it up real well. It's just good, like down tempo, chill vibes. It was another good one. Yeah, haven't really found anything disagreeable so far.
Hell yeah. Okay. The next one is another one of my picks. It's a John Coltrane track. This song is interesting. It's this song has a fucking mood, and it's called Alabama. There's this. I watched this documentary and then, you know, years ago, and kind of followed it up, and I guess there's like this really, you know, it's pretty much. Just said and believe that this, like, Coltrane really wrote this song after a bombing that happened back in the day in the 63 that ended up killing like 4 girls that were like under 15. And it was at like a church. And
was that the same bombing that was in the Watsons Go to Birmingham, like the novel?
I really don't know.
Oh, I remember that.
The church, was it in the church basement?
I can't remember. I think
I remember reading.
I know it was at a Baptist church. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, and anyway, I remember like that really stuck out to me. And then like, what a fucking, like, you know, like I've had those moments where it's like, as somebody who doesn't have much or doesn't, you know, have much to, you know, give or put out there, like, what can you do when something like really like hits you, you know, like a gut punch, like learning that like the KKK just killed a bunch of fucking kids. And you know, Coltrane being the artist he was, just like coming out and like composing such a fucking heavy, moody song and just being like, you want something, you want me on stage. This is me on stage right now. And, that's where this recording comes from. It's like a live recording. It's one of the only times I think they recorded this song. And yeah, it's just like I have distinct memory, like moments, like where it's dark as fuck out, snowy out, and I'm just hoofing through some snow and just enjoying the morning. And I'm just listening to this track, and like this track, when it hits you, I just feel like it hits you, and you have these, I don't know, you still kind of feel the reverberation of that gut punch and that fucking tragedy that like weighs through this song. And anyway, I'm done ranting. How'd you guys feel about it? Nick, how'd you feel about the song?
I definitely felt the dark mood. I didn't know the story behind it, so now that I do, it makes a lot more sense. It has a mood to it. I just totally misinterpreted that mood. I thought it was a lot more cool. And,
I think it's cool as fuck.
I think
it's a gutsy fucking move to make a song like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I thought it was less. I don't know. I thought I misunderstood the context of the song, and now that I understand it a bit more, it makes a lot more sense. But man, that's heavy. It's heavy stuff. That's all I got.
Caleb, what about you?
Yeah, like I said, like I didn't look into it after I heard this, but like I remember, reading about that in like a history class, and so, that all makes sense that it's tying together. But one thing that really stuck out to me is like sometimes when I just would like sit down and like just goof around on my guitar or something, when I heard this, I was like, this kind of has a similar feel to a lot of things that my brain tends to frequent, like as far as like, the melodic expression or whatever. And I came into this room and sat down with my guitar and just like started playing along, kind of trying to, match up with it and whatnot. And it's just like, it's a very somber but like beautiful, I don't know, feeling to it. And it was a I don't know, enriching kind of thing to sit down and do. But whew, man, it's just like it's a sad fucking story. And I don't know, it's really cool that he did this, because here we are, I'm bad at math, but many years later talking about that same thing, and his art helped us remember that, and that's pretty special.
I agree. I do. Jameson, how about you, man? How do you feel about this track?
The context of it just kind of puts the icing on the cake, because it's just like, with no context, you just feel that dark, deep tone that just kind of hits you in the feels, but you don't know why. And having that backstory just makes it all the more better, even though it's sad. It's just fucking great. Maybe top of the list.
This is one of my like most played tracks almost every time I have one of those things pop up. But like, it's, I don't know. It's like, it's equally like, it's full of love and it's full of like anger in a way, like underwhelming, under the surface anger, I think. But Dusty, how'd you feel about this song?
It was fine. I like the end of it. There's this nice like crescendo of everything that kind of like builds and doesn't quite resolve itself, but it kind of leaves you wanting, I guess. That's the term.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good song. I mean, like I said, it's jazz to me, so
it's all jazz.
So, but it's I respect it.
Yeah, I think that crescendo is an interesting kind of like end of the song. It gives you hope that it won't end in a way.
Yeah.
But who's got the next track? Wes Montgomery, man. This song was one of my favorites, honestly.
This was mine.
A Day in the Life. Jameson, where'd you pull this one from?
So when I was first searching, I just kind of went through a couple Google lists of like who are like really formative, legendary jazz musicians, and Wes Montgomery popped up as one of the like formative guitar jazz players. And then So I went and searched him out, and this is actually a Beatles song, and it's my favorite Beatles song. It's the last track on Sgt. Pepper, and I've always fucking loved that song. But I'm not gonna lie, like, so I threw it on there for that, but the more I've listened to this song, the less I've liked it. And I almost, like, I think I would have liked to maybe replace it with a Coltrane song or something. I don't dislike this song. That's, you know, kind of hard for me to say when it's my own track, but it's just
Hey man,
okay.
I can gavel it for you. It's all good.
No, not quite gavel, but almost there.
No, I thought it was like a cool rendition. There's just, I don't know. There's I think Dusty might call it like some sort of like lounge kind of backgroundy music, but you know, I would maybe agree with this cover, but I kind of like it in that aspect personally. But let's just ask the devil himself, Dusty. How did you feel about this track?
When I was searching too, I came across this song and I almost put it on there, and then I saw Jameson stole it.
Stole it.
Because I see the term a day in the life, and me being lifelong Beatles fan, I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. And then I saw Jameson, I was like, god damn it. But no, I like it. And you'll see on some of my other songs, I have similar inspirations for how I came up with jazz songs for this playlist. But I don't know, it's good. I can, like, in my head, I'm like reciting the lyrics, or
yeah, you're trying to sing along with it, and it doesn't quite line up.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, no, I like any change or rendition of other popular songs in different genres. So that's why I love like Alex Melton so much. Just to see a different interpretation of a popular song is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Second that one.
Nick, how'd you like this song?
Hang on, I was listening to Reaper Man. It's a Beatles cover. I don't know. It's fine.
Is it a gavel?
I don't have anything bad to say. No, you can't. It's fine. You can't gavel and it's fine.
I know. In all honesty, I need to get a sound clip of all of us saying it's fine. Sorry. It's the Reefer Man.
Speaking of Reefer Man, yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, okay. So, yeah, you're kind of like impartial on it.
Yeah, I have no strong feelings on this song. It's a cover of a Beatles song that I also have no strong feelings on. Meh.
Caleb, do you have
as,
feelings?
Yeah. So as you, I actually, I put this in my liked songs.
Ooh.
As you guys probably know, I am not like, I mean, okay, let me, it's thin ice to
I'm not going to have this argument with you.
No, we're not going to do that. Don't worry. What I'm trying to say is, like, absolute mad respect and prowess is earned by the Beatles because they are incredible songwriters. My dislike of the Beatles is mostly because John Lennon was a fucking communist, and the only good red is a dead red, in my opinion. I say that with a grain of salt, and I'm just joking around. But
Red Dead Redemption. We're talking about Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, what chapter of Catcher in the Rye are you in, Mark David Chapman? Jesus Christ.
I didn't know this was a Beatles song, and honestly, that doesn't change my thought at all because it makes sense because it's a really good song. I like all the strings in it. It's really pretty. I like the big build at like 4.5 minutes. You know, and then it's like, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. That's the Beatles. But the fact that Wes could play this beautiful guitar music with his thumb, just his thumb. He's like Korn half hand. He can do more with just one thumb than most men can do with 10 fingers. It's really fucking impressive, and I really like this. I like the way it sounds. I like the rendition, and yeah, to appease Dusty a little bit, this is a good fucking song. And you know, communism aside, you know, we won't hate on the Beatles too much this time. How about that?
There you go. All right. Well, next up is it's the Reefer Man.
Yeah.
Caleb.
So
Where'd the song come from?
We talked about
Is this
it
another
earlier.
Cab Calloway, by the way?
Yes, sir. It was. So this is my favorite Cab Calloway song. And I learned about it from Rex back in the high school days when we were smoking a lot of reefer. And he's
Jazz cigarettes.
check this out. And yeah, just jazz cigarettes. This song's about a guy who's smoking jazz cigarettes and he's fucking sailing. And it's just fun. And like, it just reminds me of being, I don't know, stoned to the gills and just doing a little jig in the skate park behind Rex's shop. And it's just fun. Cab Calloway's a goofball and he's got a cool suit, and yeah, it's just a good time. It's hard to be in a bad mood hearing some Cab Calloway.
I agree, man. This song was just silly and kind of fun. I mean, like a lot of the other ones, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. Nick, how about you though? Did you find this Reefer Man funny?
It's a song I've heard many times from riding around in a truck with Rex Shamley. That's it's a classic. It's Cab Calloway. I don't have anything bad to say about him. It's a Cab Calloway song about smoking reefer.
There it is.
So,
Jameson, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'll just echo it with everyone else. It's fun, upbeat, it's a good song, but I'm still confused 10 years, 15 years later, how the fuck Rex, who was listening to black metal and death metal and just got obsessed with Cab Calloway for a certain amount of time. But
He's an eclectic motherfucker.
I think Rex discovered Cab Calloway probably via marijuana.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's
I've been
the only
looking up
connection I could
Reefer
find.
online, and Reefer Man somehow popped up.
Started smoking and then just felt the net.
He Googled songs about reefer. I bet you anything.
He definitely did.
Maybe he Yahoo'd it. Dusty, how'd you feel about the Reefer Man, though? I mean, not him personally, but
It's a silly song. It's probably in the day. It was probably a controversial song. Singing about vices and whatnot. But loose women.
Punk rock
You're talking about
skateboards
yeah,
and loose
that's-
women.
Yeah. So, it's jazz. Nah.
and that's jazz, baby.
And that's why they jazz.
That's why they jazz. Well, we were talking about it earlier, and this is kind of another rendition. All the Small Things, but I think Jamie Lancaster.
Jamie Lannister.
That's what I kept thinking.
So, Lannister always pays his debts.
Well, Dusty, where'd you pull this one from?
Again, I was struggling to find songs for this playlist. So after a while, I thought, why don't I just try and find jazz covers of songs? And there's so many playlists with just jazz covers of pop songs. And I was just scrolling through, and as soon as I saw All the Small Things, I was like, yep, can't not have that on the list. So yeah,
mandatory.
I need to hear a jazz rendition of a pop punk song. So
Yeah, I mean, it was pleasant. I'll say that it was pleasant for sure. It was sort of weird. It was kind of a weird experience listening to the Blink-182 song in a different format. Like that was like, at first I was just like, strange. I don't know. It just hit differently. Perhaps it was just because of the lyrics. Like the lyrics are definitely made for a pop punk song.
yeah, it is kind of. I actually kind of like the girl singing in it.
Oh,
like
she has
the
a
duet
fantastic
of it. So
fantastic voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a cool pick though. Caleb, how'd you feel about All the Small Things?
So, like you might imagine, I want to hate this song, but it really is. It's just such a beautiful rendition. It's very tastefully done, and I do have a soft spot for Blink-182. So it was easier for me to get into it. And just everyone, the guy singing, the girl singing, the trumpets, the little, subtle harmonic, what is that fucking called? Octave chords that the guitar does and stuff. Is like, it's really fucking pretty. And honestly, I like it better than the original, I have to say. It's beautiful.
Controversial.
Maybe.
Oh.
Jameson, how about you? How'd you feel about this Blink-182 cover?
It's fine. Not really any strong feelings for it. I will say, I almost like going along the lines of silly jazz covers. If you guys want to dive into Richard Cheese or Dick Cheese, he actually, this is all he does is jazz covers of pop songs. So you might want to take a dive into that, Gil. You might enjoy it.
Yeah.
Go down the cheese hole.
I mean, like I said about like Alex Milton, I just like interpretations of different, through different genres of other songs. So it's always something worth looking at for sure.
Nick, how about you, man? Did this Blink-182 song find a spot in your heart to warm, or did it?
Almost. It was close. It was so close. It had all of the recipes of being something that I liked. It was a cover of a pop punk song, which I like. It had down tempo, soft jazz piano going on. It had all these different little adjustments and plays on things that I was familiar with in the song, and it had jazz vocals, and jazz vocals suck. So, it's fine. I'm not gonna listen to it again because the vocals in jazz just is that much of a turnoff for me.
Well, you'll have to let this small thing go. Maybe let all the small things go.
Not all of them.
No, not okay. Well, I'm not. It's okay. I don't give good advice.
I also did think at first that this song was by Jamie Lannister.
Yeah. It put something in my head, man. I thought that too, and it did give me a little bit of an edge against it at first.
He got really good with that left hand.
The song was very incestuous at one point. At all.
So that brings us to Snake Eater, which is from a Metal Gear game, Metal Gear Solid game, excuse me. And Nick, tell us about this track.
Outsider jazz.
Outsider jazz. So we've had some academics jazz, and we're experiencing some more outsider jazz here.
This is for people who don't listen to jazz, but may have multiple avenues of maybe approaching jazz. Maybe if you like video game music. This just showed up in my Spotify suggested one day. It's like it's a cover of the main theme of Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater.
Is that the one where they're in the jungle?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yep, it is a really good one.
It's got some passion to this song, man.
You can throw snakes at people in that game.
That's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I really like this, dude. It was fun. There's like what I believe is like some, maybe a road, going through this entire track, and it really kicked. This was a cool cover. I like that there's been like this, like the Blink-182, like a handful of other like kind of like versions of things. The Beatles one also is like which just hit the spot, but this one also just like felt familiar, but just cooler to me. So I liked it. It was a definite pass for me, or stamp of approval. Jameson, how about you though, man?
Yeah, I thought this was really, really good. I think a lot of the time the video game covers and stuff, they tend to be like that, super tonal EDM covers that I'm not really into. But this was great, but it's still like, you could tell it was video game music, but it was fucking pretty rad. I liked it a lot.
So it's not even like video gamey music. This was like a full-on pop song commissioned by the game studio, like to mimic like James Bond intros.
But you can still, really? I don't know, at least I could still, maybe it's because I saw in the title Metal Gear Solid, but I don't know, it gave me that video gamey feeling.
Hell yeah. Caleb, what about you?
So I remember this when, because I don't know if you guys remember the channel G4, like the video game channel.
Oh god, dude, yeah.
AKA
Yeah.
Tech TV.
Yeah. And I remember when Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, they just like had a huge media campaign for it. And they played this like on it. And I remember I can't remember the name of that show, but it was like this guy and this girl. X-Play, yes. I remember they were talking about
Morgan
it a
Webb and Adam
Freeman or something. I can't remember, but yeah. Anyway, it was they were talking about it, and they were playing this a lot, and like I was like having this like visceral nostalgic reaction. I was like, wait, where is this coming from? And it took me like a few times of listening to it to realize like, oh my god, it's from that. And I immediately thought like maybe this was like their stab at like making that like a James Bond theme or something. And so it's nice to have that validated. But it's really good, and like the beginning's really soulful, and then like the 2-minute mark or so, it like really picks up and starts just grooving, and it's really good. Like, the nostalgia and the video games aside, like it's just a really good fucking song. Like I have such a new appreciation for the saxophone, so fuck yeah, really like this one.
Dusty, did this get you?
I like the saxophone. It's especially when it picks up and it kind of has that main riff. It's kind of like what drew me to like Pliny and some stuff, where especially when he comes in with that saxophone and then it just gets more and more intense from that. That's I don't know if that's a jazz thing or what, but I mean that's something that I definitely appreciate, and that catches me, like my attention for sure. So, but yeah, I didn't know this was anything, special for like a promotion or anything like that. I just assumed they took like a theme song and jazzed it up.
It was already jazz.
Jazz. Isn't that what Emerald throws on stuff? Oh no, that's Bam.
It's
That's right.
snake jazz, you guys. Anybody?
Snake jazz.
Snake jazz.
Snake jazz. Well, that takes us to another one of my picks, which you're in it for the long haul with this one, but Red Clay by Freddie Hubbard. This fucking track, like I discovered Freddie Hubbard like a few years ago, and I was like, how have I not fucking found this, like listened to this trumpet player before? Like this guy's fucking wild, man. He has, and like this track is like you're smoking weed in a room with your friends who play music, and you're just finding out where the fuck this like the rhythm goes. Like that's like really what I feel with this track. Like this track's a fucking groove. It's a jam. It's like it's something that gets out of control at times, and then like you reel it back in. Like it's fucking awesome. Like I don't know how you guys felt about it though. Dusty, just lay it to us straight. How'd you feel about Red Clay?
Pretty chaotic with the horns and whatnot. But I mean, if I were to choose a type of jazz, through all this lobby music, restaurant music, whatever.
It's gonna give me a gavel there. Throwing them out, man.
I would prefer the one like this with more horns and stuff going on, rather than, I'm just gonna play the fucking piano and then fucking brush snare for 3 hours. So
can we get a Gill genre for this one? What would this be?
What do you call
I
it?
don't know. I just call this chaos jazz.
Chaos jazz.
Like, I don't know. It's just horny music.
Well, that's what's like one of the things I love about this piece is that the length of it gives you enough room to let everything be featured at some point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the keys get a section, the fucking horns get a section, like everything gets a piece to shine, I think, a bit. It is, but it's chaotic, especially when the horns take over. Caleb, what do you feel about this song though?
So I have to agree with Dusty a little bit. It's pretty chaotic. I appreciate it because like, goddamn, like the talent required to do this, it seems very improvisational, but there were a few times where like if I was in that room with my friends and we were all toking it up and playing crazy jazz music, I felt there were a few times I would have been tempted to pick up like the hi-hat stand and just smash the trumpet out of that guy's fucking mouth.
No fucking what?
Like, not because he's bad, just because, like, okay, settle down. Like, I felt like, all right, wow, good job. But I don't know, maybe reel it in a little bit more. And for 12 minutes, we're going to do this. I don't know. It's such a weird, like, you know, contradiction of feelings because, like, on the one hand, it's like, wow, that's really impressive. And on the other hand, it's like, okay, this is getting a little masturbatory. But
it does kind of like, I mean, it does get like a little bit repetitive in some sections, if you ask me. But that's, you know, I think that's part of the, like, a really, I'm not trying to contradict your opinions, by the way, but I just think that's part of like a really cool like element of jazz is like, you know, when you like throw something far enough out and you reel it back into something bass enough that like everything can reconnect and like have that moment and then you take off again. Yeah, because that's they nailed that. Like, you know, the trumpet goes nuts for a while and then it's like, all right, he shuts up and then we get this cool, you know, keyboard solo and, you know, it just keeps on moving. The keyboards go like some of the hardest in this fucking song. Like,
it's really good. Like, but it's also like, it's kind of one of those things like you have to be in a mood for it.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
a 12-minute mood at least.
No hate, but like sometimes it's like, okay.
Nick, how about you, man? How'd you feel about it?
So we've discussed chaos. And I like chaos in music, but I think what I really like is simulated, calculated chaos. And this is an example of true chaos. And it's, you never go full chaos.
You never go full chaos.
That was actually really hard to say.
That's the Whack Arnold brothers. That's the Whack Arnolds.
Yeah, full chaos and just noise core, I think.
Yeah. But I had a lot of the same feelings. I'm gonna relate it to the opening scene of School of Rock when you've got Dewey Finn in his band and he's just going way too hard. He's out of control on his own live performance. That was those horn players on this one, because when they were actually grooving together and like playing something a little bit more structured, it was rad. But I think that the trumpet
No Vacancy.
No Vacancy. You knew? Oh my God. Adam Pascal was in No Vacancy. He was the singer, and he was like huge Broadway guy. Anyways, the horns weren't that good, but the keys in this song, Jared said it, they went so fucking hard. Oh my God, the keys in this were so good. And that's honestly all I can remember I was going to say about it.
Jameson, how about you, man?
So I mentioned earlier that I listened to this playlist yesterday in the afternoon, and I just hated it. And I have to say it was due to this song. I listened to it all the way through, and it just put such a bad taste in my mouth that it made everything else on this playlist horrible. No. So I'm sorry, Jared, but I fucking hated this one. This was so bad.
Finally, the H word.
And I think they're great musicians, and I'm sure there are some people in the world that like this kind of thing, but it's not me.
God damn.
I love you, Jameson. That was like such a Hank Hill statement. I know there's some people that like this kind of thing, but it ain't me. I love it. I agree with you. Like, that's why I put it on there. It was like, because it was like, to me, it's such a fucking wild song, but like, you know, it's one of those things, like, jazz has so many elements to it, so many weird pockets, and I am by no means an expert on jazz, but it's like one of those really specific like moments in jazz where everybody wanted these like weird sessions, you know. Like, that's exactly what that reminds me of.
This song is the cargo pants of jazz.
Ooh. I don't know if Freddy Hubbard would appreciate that, but so you heard it here first.
Those extra pockets, they're just not necessary.
No, that's not true. As someone who is a big proponent of cargo pants, you can put anything you want and carry it all around.
Not only
Yeah,
cargo
but-
pants, zip off cargo pants. You're a
Fuck
big
yeah.
fan.
Just because you can do that
Practical.
doesn't mean you should.
I agree.
You
I agree
should.
with
It's
Nick here.
practical. Fuck you guys.
So this
That's
takes
high
us
school
to a
Caleb
track
talking
that
to us
like
right there.
this
That comes
track
from
is a little-
deep place of hurt.
this next track is a little polarizing, if you ask me, on the jazz playlist.
dare
So
you.
this is a Pliny track, which we're not foreign to Pliny. And I like this track, I will say that. But what interests me is like, this is the one that I really like. I legitimately like listened to it and was like, what reminds me of jazz about this song? Like I had to think about that really fucking hard. And it like opens up a little bit after a while, but like the first like chunk of this song does not strike you as like any sort of resemblance of a jazz song. Like so the way I thought about it earlier today, this morning when I was walking, was I thought about like this reminds me of like flying above some fucking like mountaintops to go battle some frost giants, but in like a mech suit, and like that has nothing to do with jazz. It has to do with like everything fantasy and science fiction.
That's pretty cool.
That's
though.
fair, man.
It's cool. That's what I mean. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
cool as shit, but it doesn't remind me of jazz.
Is it jazz? Well, okay. Since I put
But
this
then,
on here,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Caleb, explain thyself.
let me defend Pliny on this and Anomaly.
I mean, I'll defend it with you, Caleb, but yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
let you go.
I'm glad you said that, and now I feel bad because I was kind of gonna throw you under the bus a little bit because you put the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on here, and my initial thought was, what the fuck is that doing on here? So, but actually, no, I'm gonna come to your defense too because we discussed this earlier. Jazz has spawned so many, branches off of its family tree, if you will, and this is kind of a good example of like jazz rock fusion, arguably metal jazz fusion. And there's some funk in here. There's some sax playing. There's some, you can't really argue that the guitar is pure jazz. It's kind of like that, fusion jazz influenced style. But God damn it, this song, it fucks. It slaps. It's fire.
It does.
But yeah, I get it was kind of a wild card, but to me, like my attraction to jazz music is guitar based, and there's a lot of jazz influence in Pliny's guitar styles. And then you get the saxophone in there that kind of helps round it out, and the end of the song is kind of more a pure jazz vibe. There's a lot going on. It's like Michael Scott running The Office. It's like war-torn Poland, the Roman Empire, the Wild West. Like there's a lot going on. But you know what? You could argue it all comes from jazz. And it's good shit. And I had to beat Nick to this because I thought he was probably going to put it on there. Sorry,
was.
Nick. Yep.
Well, that's kind of what my point is that like there's like so many elements that like it made me think about like I said, it made me think about what reminds me, like what about jazz like reflects in the song to me. And like, and you see it in certain instruments, like when like the overall like course that you see like them take in the song, like going on like kind of like little tangents and then coming back to the main. And there's some like hard beats, like there's a lot of hard rock beats in the song.
It's heavy.
And which like again, like kind of like with that the lo-fi beat in the one of Nick's songs earlier, it like it to me it works in a certain way. It's just it took me like I guess it's not a bad song, but it just took me a while to think about this song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dusty,
this is like the future of jazz. The future is now.
the future is now.
Like last night, I was hanging out with Rex and some other people were playing the card game Dominion. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that, but it's
Yes,
a great game. And I just put on YouTube to Plea and just put that on, and I was trying to describe it to them what genre it is, and I was like, well, it's kind of a jazz in certain ways, just because there's so much going on. And I mean, isn't that jazz itself is just like chaoticness? There's sudden changes, some stuff that doesn't work. That's there, but it works once the whole song comes together. So, and then going back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, what is rap without jazz?
True.
So
True.
It's had to have spawned from that. So, but yeah, no, I liked it, and I think it's a jazz song. So I'll leave it there.
Jameson, how about you?
So, looking at the title, just a quick little branch, I keep thinking in my head, like, if Nick was to rebrand himself as like some fancy French person, he could write his name like this.
Yes.
Brand new.
A flaneur is a thing, though. A flaneur
What
is
is
like
it?
sort of it's like a sort of modern Renaissance man. Like it's a person who
Exactly.
a person who goes out and walks down the street and sees the sights of Paris.
Well-
he gets involved in the community, not the community, but like the society.
Well,
He's a flaneur.
most Americans wouldn't know that, and now you have a backstory to your alter ego. So
I learned
Perfect.
that in an art history class I had to take because it was a requirement for me to graduate at Western.
Can I
It was
just
a
say
good
on that
class. I
note?
really liked it.
I don't mean to interrupt or interject too much, but like that's actually kind of perfect as to like that's in my opinion, that's kind of what jazz represents to me, is like it's about exploring and experiencing like all the different aspects of like whatever your instrument is, whether it's horns or piano or guitar or whatever. It's like, let's just like see where this shit takes us and try something weird and maybe in some people's minds wrong, like play the fucking right notes, and it's like let's just go for it. Let's try something weird and new, and yeah, that's what jazz is.
So is noise color jazz then?
Yes.
'Cause exactly.
It's just chaos. Most course, just chaos. Jameson,
Well,
though,
specifically on this song, in the beginning of the middle section, there's this off-time drumming that they do, and it gave me so much anxiety that I didn't like this song at all. Like, I was driving down the road and this drumming's going on with everything else, and I'm just like heavy breathing, like, please make this stop. I hate it. So I don't hate this song, and Pliny is a master, but no, not for me.
not this track. Nick, how about you, man? You said you were almost going to put this one on there.
Yeah,
on
the only
list
reason
yourself.
I didn't is because Caleb got there first.
He stole it from you.
So I'd say you are correct, because I've listened to this song many times. It's one of my favorite songs. Parts of this song, I cannot call them jazz. Like I can't tell you why, but they're just not. But so many other parts of this song are. Like the timing of the main beat of the song, it's this kind of weird proggy beat, but it treats it as if it were a jazz beat in the way it kind of like he softly hits that hat with the sticks to like kind of give it this busyness to it. I don't know. I thought that was jazzy. I don't know who this saxophone is. The saxophone player, saxophonist,
Sure.
Saxophoner. No, I don't know.
I don't know who that is, but this song is actually how I discovered Anomaly, who is a pianist, like primarily a jazz pianist. It's what he is. But I don't know. It's a really cool song. Caleb hit the nail on the head. Everyone loves Pliny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the one of the interesting things we've all like come like all of a sudden, or yeah, it's like you can't pass up that artist. If we had to pick all one like person that we probably all like mutually agreed on, that's one of them for sure.
Surprising that like a prog metal guitar player kind of guy.
Well, there's just such like versatility in the stuff that they put together, Anyway,
We need to
too
get
good
him
for
on the
this world.
podcast.
there you go. You know he's listening.
I'll shoot him a DM.
But the next track, it's another cover. It's of Time. Dusty, you picked this one out, correct?
Yeah, correct. Again, it was one of those things where I was trying to find jazz songs, and I'm just going through these cover playlists, and I was like, well, Time's got to be one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. Just yeah, the whole rendition of it. But I was like, we got a jazz version of this one, so yeah, it's fine.
You got to put some pepper up there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So-
I like this one too. It was like
Yeah.
it was just like a cool version of this song.
There's nothing
man.
special about it. It's just like, yeah, just a different rendition of a classic song. So
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with it. So. Caleb, how'd you feel about it?
I mean, Time is my all-time favorite Pink Floyd song. So this was, this was a no-brainer. Like, yeah, this is nice. It's a different vibe. The only thing that bummed me out was like, I really missed that guitar solo because that's one of the best guitar solos.
When I first listened to it, I'm like, all right, are they gonna try and cover that solo? Because they should just, they should have just cut in that actual solo into the middle of it.
Sample it and just put it in
fucking
there.
awesome. Because I love it. It's such a simple solo, but it's
beautiful.
Just works so perfectly.
And I mean, you get your little, jazz, like kind of Joe Pass-esque, guitar solo in there, and it's pretty. But I mean, like, if that's the only complaint I have, like, it's not much of a complaint. It's a really cool rendition. It's really pretty. No complaints whatsoever.
Nick, did you like this cover?
I would have preferred it if the vocals had been a horn section, because it was a really cool cover. I don't think it really captured the idea of Time as a song. That, I don't know. It felt like a very weird transition. So I just kind of ignored the contents of it, and I listened to it as its own song, and it honestly had a really good groove to it. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it necessarily captured like the full feel of the Pink Floyd song.
Yeah,
I mean, it can't be
cinematics
replicated
of it.
really. Like,
I felt like the
that way.
fact that it was a cover of Time was its weakest element, actually.
Fair enough.
Like, because the
It's a pretty
original
good song
song,
otherwise.
it has like an urgency because it's like we're running out of time, and like there's an emotion in his voice as he's singing it, like that's like, especially as the song goes along, it's realizing like, like our time's running out.
10 years is got behind you.
Jameson,
That's kind of missing.
Jameson, how'd you feel about this cover?
For those same reasons, I did not really enjoy this cover. I thought it was just kind of hollow compared to the original, and it might just be because I hold Pink Floyd to like a high standard for myself. I didn't enjoy it.
It's fair.
Yeah,
You heard it. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I enjoyed it for what, kind of like Nick. I enjoyed it for what it was. Setting aside that, and like, but it is. I don't know. I mean, if I had to choose, I'd always pick obviously the Pink Floyd song. And I think we all would. But it's an interesting song to try to cover in like a more, I don't know, bare bones kind of way. The next track, though, I think is another Nick pick. I gotta stop saying that. It's a Nick song, one of Nick's tracks.
I'm sending you guys Nick picks on the daily. Outside of jazz.
Nick picking everything.
It's Rush by Seatbelts. And where'd this come from?
This came from Cowboy Bebop. Like, that's how a lot of people, including myself, like some of our earliest exposure to jazz was through anime or through like TV in some form or another. And for those of us who were watching Toonami, after dark back in the day, or on Adult Swim, that's what it was.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You
That
know,
was just
you
gibberish.
You didn't watch Toonami like on Adult Swim Cartoon Network?
Dude,
what the
no.
fuck?
Toonami usually was on very late at night.
Yeah.
Us
Adult
night
Swim.
owls know.
Yeah, dude, but Cowboy Bebop, fantastic anime series in itself. But yeah, the one of the most iconic things about it is the soundtrack. I think, like, because it adds so much mood and atmosphere to the show.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like
this was a really
like
good
theme
pick if
song
you ask
from
me,
it?
Nick. But
No, I deliberately did not choose the theme song because I've heard it too many times. Tank is a great song. I don't need to hear it again.
fair enough.
I've seen that show multiple times, so I've just.
Do you like the album in general though, Nick?
Yeah, the whole album's great. So this is one of the only type of like of that chaotic, super up tempo, loud jazz that I really like, and I primarily just like it because of my association to something else I really like. This isn't a type of jazz I would normally seek out, but it's just, it's upbeat. It's action movie music. If drum and bass hadn't been invented in the 90s.
Yeah, man. I think this song has just got that energy to it. It's definitely, like you said, it's meant for like moving. It's meant for some sort of action. It's meant for something, you know. You're not just supposed to be like standing there watching this fucking song be played. You got to be fucking moving with it, man. Like, yeah. Jameson, how'd you feel about this song though?
No, didn't like this one either.
That was so fast.
It's just slow it the fuck down. If I'm gonna listen to jazz, slow it the fuck down and
That's the
don't.
most
I don't
dad
need
thing I've
shit.
ever heard. Slow it the fuck down.
James is gonna be
Settle
the guy
down.
sitting out on his porch with the radar gun, tagging cars as they go by, so he can call the cops.
There are children in this neighborhood.
Dude.
As you're sitting on the porch, like smoking around your child, it's like, man, smoke.
Dusty, what about you, man? How'd you feel about this song?
It's more jazz.
It's more
Uh,
jazz.
I've not seen the Cowboy Bebop, but it definitely sounds like a theme song. You know, opening credits to a 70s or 80s cartoon of some sort that's got a lot of shenanigans going on in it. I don't know. But, yeah, it's fine. I like the bongos.
The bongos. Caleb, did you enjoy this or not?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a cool one. It's definitely more. It's hyphy jazz for sure.
It is. Yeah, it's cocaine jazz. Is what
Yeah,
it
for
is.
sure.
You don't want no part of this, Dewey.
But so I have a little bit of a funny story about it because like I've watched Cowboy Bebop, but it's been a long time, and like I was like, wait, this is familiar, but it took me a while to like register what it was from until I looked at the fucking album cover and I was like, oh, there it is. You know, like again with that, what was that fucking that like, you know, New Delhi. It was on whatever.
Oh,
I couldn't. I thought
the Dan the Automator song.
yeah, fucking
Oh,
stupid.
God.
Anyway, but
You guys are haters.
so I'm just like, maybe I have dyslexia or something, but because like I'm looking at it and like I was like, this is a cool song, and I saw like, okay, the song's called Rush by Seatbelts, but I was registering it as Seatbelts by the band Rush.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. I thought at first too. I was like, oh, there's a Rush
very
song on
strange Rush song.
Okay, yeah, and I was like, okay, this is like some avant-garde like influence from Neil Peart or something. Like he's like, you guys, let's play some jazz. And I was like, oh, I've never heard this Rush song before. This is really cool. And like for a while, I was like, wow, like, and I even like Googled it, like Rush played jazz, and then I didn't find anything.
Did Rush play jazz?
And
Hey Siri.
there were no
Did Rush
results.
plays that?
And then I finally looked at it again and was like, oh, I'm a fucking dumbass. And then I just left that alone and I was like, yeah, this is a really cool fucking song. That's about it.
Oh my
It's
god,
a good song.
Oh man, that's fucking ridiculous. And all right, that brings us, I guess, to another one of my picks. T for Two by Thelonious Monk. Anybody?
By Rafford McGonson.
Nope.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody would make the reference exactly why I put it on here. I mean, shout out to the monk, man. Thelonious Monk's obviously an amazing artist, but yeah, there's another artist that deserves credit for the title.
Gotta walk away when they're censored.
Okay.
That song's not shouldn't exist.
So
in
okay, so
2022.
I just love this is one of those like piano forward kind of songs that like I don't know, it's like it's rare for me to really focus on the piano as a like a main instrument to focus on, but I don't know, it's something about the it's just a nice pleasant song. It kind of moves along. It gives me the vibe of like cruising through a fucking record store, like going around downtown and just like, just having a fucking day. Reminds me of walking around in the fall. All right, I'm gonna say it there. I like this track though. What about the rest of you? Nick, how about you?
This is a fun one. It's got kind of a bounce to it, but it still is like the, classic, my favorite type of like, jazz trio music, the piano heavy, the drum and bass with on the accompaniment. It's great. It's Thelonious Monk. Like, what do you want? It's good music.
You know it's good. That being said, Jameson, how about you?
Yeah, I felt like the keys had like a really like free form to it. Like it seemed like it was improv'd along, which I've throughout this list, pretty much anything that had that feel I disliked strongly, but this I could get behind. I like this one.
Yeah. There's an interesting like that's a good note, man. That it has like a familiar but kind of loose feel, like the piano.
Yeah.
Caleb, what about you?
So the thing that stood out to me was, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with a lot of these tracks is the walking bass, and I've taken more of an interest in the bass lately. And I mean, I've played some bass, and it's not easy to play walking bass, at least in my experience. So that was cool. The only complaint, and it's so minor, it's kind of inconsequential, is unless you're listening to it like I have it in one ear right now, and the way it's mixed is like the piano's on one side and the bass and the drums are on the other. And it reminds me of like the way that the Doors were mixed. It's like, you know, they really split it, and it's like I just want everything together, and I just need to shut you guys up and put my other fucking headphone in. So really, honestly, no complaint. It's a really cool song, and the piano is fucking it's pretty out of this world if you have the proper headphone in.
Dusty, did you have the proper headphone in while you were listening to the song?
Yeah, I mean, this is Christmas time in the mall jazz, so
I'm gonna give it that.
I'm like pissed off that I'm in the mall to begin with, and it's the music just playing. I'm like, ugh.
Just continues to just irk you as you go.
And it's just like, okay, this piano needs to stop before I fucking burn this place to the ground.
Bed Bath and Beyond's gonna be buried, man. Okay, I get you. Well, and that, I guess that takes us to the last track on the formal aspect of the list here, Hang Glide. So, I believe this is I'm not gonna say it. This is one of Nick's songs.
It is one of my songs. So as said previously, I discovered Anomaly through Pliny. I thought Anomaly was the saxophone player, so I googled the guy, and I think he's a jazz pianist out of Ontario somewhere. I don't know, maybe Toronto. I don't know where jazz pianists live.
I think they have a colony somewhere
on the moon.
On the moon.
No, but this wasn't the. So this one was great. It's another one that really doesn't have a traditional jazz type beat. It's a little bit more R&B, I think. But the way he plays it, he just the chords he chooses, the runs he chooses to do. It's absolutely beautiful playing, and I think it just pairs super well with this type of music. And then the synthesizers come in, and I like synthesizers, so that was nice.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I like this song. It like this is one of those tracks I was talking about earlier, where like you have to like look at like some of the elements happening within the song to like really like kind of pull out like the reflection of jazz, and you find that so hard. Like some of those bass fucking lines that just like shred down the line, like you're like, I don't know, man. It's a cool track. It's not like a like with the synthesizers and all that kind of like, you know, non-traditional like jazz sounding stuff. Like it challenges like what I thought I liked about like in jazz, and it kind of expanded that. So I really enjoyed this track. Jameson, what about you? How'd you feel about this song?
Yeah, I liked it. It's just different tone. I don't really know what else to say about it, but it's good. It's good.
Caleb, how about you?
Like it had a similar kind of vibe to the other sort of lo-fi vibe that Nick picked, where it kind of like the way I would describe like the beat that's kind of atypical of most like jazzy tracks is like it kind of has like a stutter, like, you know, like almost like you're tripping, you know, like the beat trips, trip hop, if you will, and the synth is good. The traditional kind of piano it's beautiful. Like, I'm glad that Nick kind of took what I stole from him with Plenty and Anomaly and expanded upon it, because you know, Anomaly deserves some more love. And it's like, honestly, like for me, like I can't play piano to save my life, but man, fuck, do I love listening to like someone who can. And it helped me like expand on that and kind of, you know, move into like, all right, I'm gonna check more of that out, because that really jives with me. So good shit.
I know. Well, Dusty, do you have any love for it?
Yeah, I mean, like this, I would prefer this type of jazz to some of the other bullshit, because there's a lot more new stuff going on with it, and it's catchy to me. That nice. There's like that main riff kind of through this that I find really catchy. So yeah, and it's different, you know, with the synths and everything. It's not your typical just piano and brush snare, like I said earlier. So
fair enough. Yeah. Overall, I mean, like I think we put together a really fucking fun, like interesting list that kind of challenges like all of our like understanding of what we think jazz is, which was really cool. You know, I tried to focus on like some of those, like, you know, we all knew those are jazz songs, like, but I really appreciated, and reflecting on it, like the stuff that you guys kind of put on there, that, like I said earlier, kind of just expanded my, you know, the genre of jazz to me. So anyway, we got to get our tops and our bottoms out of the way here. Do you guys have a couple set aside? Do you guys have favorites and least favorites?
I can go if people are waiting. So
what you got?
Top of the list, I think I'll give it to the Coltrane, Alabama. Those, I mean, especially after hearing the backstory, it's just a fucking cool song with a great vibe. Well, I mean, sad vibe, but that's good.
It's still a good mood, man.
Bottom of the list by far is Red Clay. Fucking hate that shit.
Ooh. I'll take it. I got a top and a bottom out of that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have a couple?
Mine.
I'll let Nick go.
Oh, okay. I'll get mine out of the way. Top for me was definitely Blue and Green. I hadn't actually heard that song before somehow. I've never listened to Miles Davis on my own. So now I actually have a reason to go listen to more Miles Davis, because that song was outstanding.
Yo, did you listen to the Miles Runs the Voodoo down?
And Bill Evans. No.
That's the other Miles Davis song I put on there.
It's good shit.
You should check that out too.
Oh,
But
I didn't
anyway,
see a lot of the newer.
That's all like that's not part of the official pod. Or pod
Not
list.
canon.
But what was your least favorite?
Red Clay. It was really bad.
God damn, dude. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like, Dusty, what about you? What were your tops and bottoms?
Well, I can't pick my songs as tops, so otherwise Fresh Prince of Bel-Air would be number one. I like that Agua song. It's fun. I'll go with Flaneur. Because I like Pliny, and it's the least favorite. I mean, so many of these songs just blend together. Probably the first song on the list, though, because I'm like, was just setting the tone for this, all this bullshit to blend together
In the wee small
Yeah,
hours. Or
I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm in a fucking hotel lobby, so
And I'm here for a while.
yeah, this is gonna be a shit vacation because I don't want to be around these people.
Oh, no. Jeez. Caleb, what about you, man?
I'm gonna break Dusty's rule, and I'm gonna say my top was Flaneur. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I picked the best track, man.
I don't know. I contributed to my
He's
favorite track.
just so humble.
I don't give a fuck. I love Pliny. He can do no wrong, and I have such a newfound respect for Anomaly. Like between that song and the one that Nick contributed, Hang Glide, it was kind of a tie, honestly, between those two, because like that's just kind of like I like that, you know, that fusion that like, all right, we have jazz, but let's do something kind of new and, you know, very in the spirit of jazz. And it's, you know what, that's really cool. But honestly, it was kind of tied with Seatbelts Rush, which I thought was Rush.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, shit, Rush is on this playlist. All right.
I was like, I was so confused, but yeah, it's kind of a tie with those two. But Pliny Flaneur gets a little bit of a nod. And while I respect what they were doing and the sheer talent required to do what they were doing, I have to kind of jump on the bandwagon.
Do it.
And my bottom is Red Clay. I'm
No,
sorry, Freddy. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
It's not. It's not, honestly, like, all things considered, as the most hateful person on this podcast and who dislikes most music, overall, I think we can all agree that this was the most positively received playlist that we've done, and to me, at least, it was by far the most enjoyable one that we all like contributed something to. And I mean, I really got a lot out of this. Like, there's so much on here that I'm gonna, you know, explore further and continue listening to.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, same. I loved it. I would say, like, my top is probably, I mean, that is kind of tough. I can't do my own songs. I'm not gonna do that. You can do, yeah, I guess the precedent's been set. But no, I mean, there's really ones I like elements of every single song on here, so it's kind of more or less just sort of like which one I cared for the least out of that lineup. But my top is probably, it's either got to be that Wes Montgomery cover, because I just like, I don't know, there's something about it that really stuck, or actually Snake Eater. That was kind of my real runner up. So like, I love the vibes of both of them. But my bottom, I mean, if I gotta throw the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in there, like, I will normally not do this, but you know, I'm doing it now. But if that's too obvious of a one, I would say, I'm sorry, it's just not jazz.
Uncle Phil didn't die for this.
Oh, don't invoke Uncle Phil's name. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll just gotta put that on there just because it's not jazz. Other than that, like, I really just enjoy the elements of of every song on here. So, yeah, this was a fun one, man, and I'm so fucking glad to be getting these going again, getting everything fired up. You know, like, it's something to look forward to every week. I hope that people start really listening along to the playlists, you know, that we post. You know, links in the social media and shit like that for, as well as the podcast, because that's kind of half the fun, I think, is going through the list too. You know, you can listen to us talk shit, which is fucking great, but like, check out that music too, because it keeps things fresh. Yeah, Jameson, you mentioned that thinking about like the like one of those like gross words that's, you know, always makes you cringe a little bit at the beginning of the podcast. I have mine.
It's supposed to just be a normal word, not anything tied to it.
Not anal spokes.
Yeah, I have mine.
But yeah, you won't be able to think of spokes without thinking of the anal spokes.
That's true.
So I say we just go around and do one. I'll start it off. Lactate.
Ugh. Oh man.
Ugh.
All right, Jameson, what about you?
Raunchy. Fucking hate that word.
Good to know.
Nick, do you have one?
Circle back.
Caleb, what about you?
Unctuous.
Oh, it's got a weird tone to it.
Yeah.
Dusty, do you have a word that just sits?
I've got so many. I mean, the obvious ones for people are moist. It's a big one. But cesspool.
Ugh.
Just the term cesspool, you just think of just disgustingness.
Cesspool.
Got
Nick,
one now.
you got one?
Nubile.
Ugh. Those are all weird. Those are
that's a
all
gross
and nubile just is like
There's so many nasty connotations to that.
all right, but not to this podcast, okay?
This is a nubile podcast.
This podcast is nubile, and
very
it'll leave you
unctuous.
lactating. All right, guys. Hot dogs, corn. Turn yourself into corn dogs. Make sure you're listening here. Corn dogs, thank you for continuing to listen. You guys, the council, this was fucking awesome. We'll leave it there for next time. Let's all say good night. Good night.
Night.
Good night.